Hey YouTube family, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys have been keeping well. I know it's been a while, but I'm back today. If you are new, I just want to give you a warm welcome and just say welcome to the channel. If you are a returning subscriber, then I want to say that you are welcome back. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for sticking with me on this journey. So I'm super excited about today's video because this is literally something that I have recently walked through, and the tips I'm going to be sharing with you guys today is something that I literally wrote down and actually walked through on my recent holiday, my recent trip that I just took to Lagos, Nigeria. And I want to share some of these tips with you guys because I really believe that it's going to help somebody and really equip somebody as you go on your next holiday. So obviously, guys, you guys know this is holiday season, and I'm sure a lot of people that tuning into this video right now are going on holiday very soon. And one thing that I noticed as I was preparing for my holiday is how important it is for us to be intentional and to plan so that we can keep God first during our holiday, and so that we can go on our holiday and come back spiritually strong and not spiritually dry. And I feel like what happens is that a lot of people go on holiday, and because they're not intentional, because they don't plan, they literally go away and they come back, and it's like having to start again from point zero, having to start again from the scratch, having to start to build their prayer life again, their word life again. So again, I hope these tips that I share with you guys today will be helpful, and I hope that as you go on your next holiday that you will apply some of these things and that you will come back from your next holiday feeling as spiritually strong as ever. So I'm going to get right into the first tip with you guys, and the first thing that I wrote down here on my list is to make sure that you start your day with God and to have a plan. So again, I feel like it's so easy for us to go on holiday and feel like I have this routine, but I'm on holiday, so let's kind of relax, let's chill. I don't need to kind of like follow my routines, my habits. But the best thing that you can do for yourself on holiday is to literally make sure that you stick to your routines. And the first part of that is to stick to your morning routine. So I recently did a video where I spoke about building a healthy and a productive morning routine. So if you haven't watched that video already, then I do encourage you to go and check out that video, because I really believe that it will help you if you don't already have a morning routine. So starting your day with God, having a plan for your day is super important, because if not, it's so easy to just start off your day, pick up your phone, check your notifications, go to breakfast and realize that you haven't even acknowledged God. You haven't even prayed. You haven't even thanked God for a new day. You haven't even gotten to your word. You've just gotten up and just gone about your business. But the main thing that I want to draw out from this point is to have a plan, because while you're on holiday, again, it's easy for you to just be moved by your feelings. But if you have a plan in place, it will help you to stick to that routine. And for me, what worked was making sure that I started a Bible plan before I went on my holiday. So starting a Bible plan before you go on holiday can be a great way to get into that routine, get into that pattern. And when you're on holiday, literally just pick off where you stopped, carry on from where you stopped, and just continue with making sure that you stay in the word and stay prayed up. The second one, which is kind of similar to this first point, is to make sure that you stick to all of your habits, all of your routines, all of your systems, all of your patterns as much as you can. Now, obviously, I know that when you're on holiday, it's not as easy to stick to the things that you would usually do on a day-to-day basis, especially if you're on holiday with a group of people, maybe with your family, maybe with your friends, and maybe they don't have the same patterns that you do. And they might even be looking at you and be thinking, you're doing too much. Is it everyday prayer? Is it every day the word? Is it everyday worship? Is it every day you must spend time with Jesus? Yes, it's every day. But making sure that you incorporate that routine into your holiday as much as you can is super key. And even if that just means taking time out every now and again during your holiday to spend alone time with God, spending time in prayer, spending time in the word, spending time maybe journaling, prayer journaling, and just making sure that you are not losing your routine and your habits. One thing that I found is that when we go on holiday, a lot of the times we just feel like, I'll just get back to it when I get back. I'll just pick it up where I left off when I get back. But what we don't realize is that a lot of the time when we do that, we end up coming back spiritually dry, spiritually weak, spiritually tired. And then, like I said, starting from scratch again. And I don't want that to be your portion, and I'm sure you don't want that to be your portion either. So one way that you can ensure that is to make sure that you keep your routines as much as possible and try to continue the patterns and the systems that you have already built. The next one that I think is another key one is to take your physical Bible with you if possible. Guys, if I show you my Bible, I'll probably insert a clip somewhere. My study Bible is massive. However, I was so intentional about taking my Bible with me on holiday. Even though it added extra weight to my suitcase, I said I want to make sure I take it so that it's a reminder to me to get into the Word, to study the Word, and not just read the Word, and to also not be distracted. Again, one thing that I find on holiday is that obviously while you're there, you might be posting, you might be putting up pictures, putting up some videos, creating some content. And as you go to your phone, the notifications will just be popping up. And it's a huge distraction. But one way that you can ensure that you are not distracted while you're on holiday and making sure that you keep God first is to have your physical Bible with you. And even if that is spending a few minutes before you go to sleep, just getting into the Word, reading the Word, meditating on the Word, it will make a huge difference. So that is another thing that helped me personally, having my study Bible with me and just having time where I actually just dig into the Word and just see what God is saying in this season. Another one as well is to use the opportunity to go outside, if the weather is nice, to go out for a walk, go for a prayer walk and spend some time alone with God. Again, when you're on holiday, it's so easy for you to kind of get too relaxed and also feel like because there are so many people around you, you don't know how you're going to spend time with God. Sometimes, for example, if you're sharing a room with someone on holiday, or if you have a house that is full of people, full of family, it's so easy to feel like there's no moment to have a quiet time or quiet moment with God. But taking it outside, if the weather is beautiful, if the weather is nice, literally just going for a walk and just having that time to spend time with God alone, spending time in prayer, spending time talking to your Father, telling him how you feel, telling him what's going on, speaking to him about your day, and also just hearing what he has to say while enjoying nature at the same time. So that's another one as well, to really just get outside and just spend some time taking a prayer walk, especially if you feel like you don't really have that time to spend alone with God while inside with others. Now, this next one is kind of a little bit opposite to what I've just said, and that is to spend as much time as possible to fellowship with other people if you can. Now, of course, some of you guys might be going on holiday with friends who are unbelievers and you don't feel like you can necessarily pray with them, or you don't feel like you can study the Word with them. It might not be something that you'll be able to do as freely, as openly as you would love to. But if you are traveling with other believers, family, or people that you can pray with or even read the Word with, then that is something as well that you can incorporate during your holiday, during your trip. One thing that me and a few of the girls did on a recent girls trip is that we made sure that we went to a local church in Belgium, because that's where we went, to fellowship with other believers. And I'm telling you guys, it was one of the best decisions that we made, because I absolutely loved to fellowship with this church community, and I literally learned so much. It was just such a beautiful experience, and it was so timely in terms of the Word that was shared. So that's something that I feel like sometimes we neglect when we go on holiday. We feel like, oh, yeah, I'm on holiday, I don't need to go to church. But if you are there on a Sunday and there is a local church that is around, then you can definitely, as led by the Holy Spirit, go and worship with another church community and just spend some time in God's presence. And that is another way that you can ensure that you keep God first during your holiday and don't put your relationship with God on a back burner. Another one that's super important when it comes to going on holiday, and I feel like this is really the crux of this video, this is really the core of this video, and that is to be intentional about the things that you do and the places that you go. Honestly, guys, if this was the only point that I shared in this video, then I think that this is enough to get you through your holiday and to make sure that you keep God first. Like I said, when we go on holiday, it's so easy for us to get so comfortable, get so relaxed that, even we might not even know when we let our boundaries down and cross the line of sin. When on holiday, it's so easy to give into the pressure of those around you. One thing that I found is that sometimes we have personal consecration, personal convictions that we have been given from God. And we know that God has said, don't do that thing, don't do this thing. Sometimes the thing that God has told us is not even a sin per se, but we know that God has said, for your journey, for your destiny, it's important that you don't do these things. It's important that you do not go to these places. It's important that you have these boundaries. But sometimes when we're on holiday and we see other people doing these things, everyone else is doing it. So why can't I do it? And it's so easy for us to get relaxed and to fall back into those things that God has delivered us from in the past, to fall back into things that we know that we shouldn't be doing. So this one is a super important one, guys, in terms of whatever personal conviction that you have, your values, your beliefs, making sure that you stick to it. So even if that means, for example, I don't know, not going clubbing and everyone else is going clubbing. In fact, I remember going on a trip one time to Morocco a few years ago and everyone was going clubbing. And personally for me, that's just something that I know that I just can't do. And I remember just them being like, oh, just come, everyone else is going. And I said, no, I just would prefer just to stay indoors. And I literally stayed indoors by myself, but I had a good time, you know, having me time and me and God time. But if it even gets to that point, then that's something that you might have to do, where it's you saying no to certain things that everybody else is doing because you know your personal convictions. So yeah, that's a big one that I really want you guys to hold on to. And it might not even be something that is sin. Like I said, it could be something as small as not going to a certain environment, not going to a certain place, not getting involved in certain things. Just making sure that you stick to your personal convictions and don't fall back into old habits and old patterns. And the last one that I'm going to share with you guys today, which again, this one really helped me when I was on my recent trip to Lagos, and that was to use headphones or to use AirPods while you are on your trip when necessary. My God, guys, it was so bad that I actually had to buy AirPods on my way at the airport because I'd left my other AirPods at church and I knew that I was going to need it during the trip. And let me tell you guys this, it came in super handy. Now, why do you need AirPods while you're on your trip? One reason is because sometimes you might be in certain environments, certain places, and you just need to pop those AirPods in and block out the noise that is going on around you. So for me, that was even moments where I was in the Uber, moments when I was in a store and there were certain songs, music that was being played, and I was just like, yeah, I don't really want this in my spirit. I really don't want to take this in. And I could easily just take my AirPods, pop it in and block out the noise. Another reason why this is important as well is because you can literally make sure that you are tuned in to the spirit, like literally feeding your spirit. Again, a lot of the time when we're on holiday, it's so easy to feed the flesh and just pour into the flesh and forget to feed your spirit. So one thing that having AirPods can do is to make sure that even as you're on the go, even as you're on the move, you could be listening to a teaching, you could be listening to a worship song, you could be listening to some sort of ministration that is feeding your spirit, that is blessing your spirit. This is something that really helped me. Even on the Sunday, I remember just tuning into our church sermon and it really blessed me. And I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't have AirPods. But those were the little things that helped me to keep my mind focused on God during my trip, keep my mind focused on the things of the spirit and not get distracted or literally allow my spirit to get weak. So those were a few things that helped me while I was on my recent trip. I hope that they help you on your next trip, on your next holiday, on your next journey. And I'm going to be closing today's video with a scripture for you guys. And that is from James chapter 4, verse 7 to verse 8a. And it says, "Submit yourselves therefore to God. Resist the devil and he will flee from you. Draw near to God and he will draw near to you." And I'm going to leave it there. So hope that has blessed you guys. And remember, God cares about you. God cares about how you literally show up in your next holiday. So make sure you apply some of these tips. And I would also love to hear from you guys any other tips that you guys have as well that I can learn from, that others can learn from. put them in the comment section below. Thank you for tuning in. If you haven't already and you made it to this point, please make sure that you like, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, and continue to follow me on this journey of faith. Thank you guys as always for tuning in. Love you guys so much. Peace out and God bless.